All right. Welcome everyone to the Metis Middleware launch. Today we're going to, I guess I should probably get the presentation up and running, but welcome everyone. Unfortunately, Alina is away today and I am taking her place as lead presenter of the middleware launch. So let me switch to the actual presentation and let's just jump right into it. So first I'd like to say, can everyone see the screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, excellent, excellent. There's tons of presentations where I started, but the screen wasn't showing. So today is the Metis Middleware MVP launch. We'll be going over a brief introduction about Metis, as well as an introduction to Polis, which is the middleware. Then I'll give you a brief demo of an application utilizing the middleware or Polis. Afterwards, we'll have a Q&A session. So just a disclaimer that this presentation is not meant for financial information. This is just about the tech. For Metis rewards, as well as posting your questions, we will only accept questions that are posted on our Telegram. So please head on over to the Telegram. Don't post your questions on the YouTube chat. Make sure that you're subscribed and you bookmark metis.io for the latest updates. And of course, join our Telegram for even earlier updates as well. So what is Metis? Metis' goal is to transition the world from Web 2 to Web 3. How we do so? We make the technology easy to use and accessible to everyone, for the technical to the organizational levels, empowering both personal and business life. So how do we use Metis? Well, what can you use Metis for? You can use Metis to build a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, a DeFi application, decentralized application as well. NFTs, launchpads, you can create your own business directly on Metis. We also enable tokenization, and as our Metis swap, we've demonstrated that we can support decentralized exchanges as well. Now, why do we use Metis? Why Metis in particular? We solve these problems: high gas fees, slow transactions, super expensive storage, the development of smart contracts as well, and the concerns with decentralization. So how do we solve this? For our gas fees, it only costs a few cents to make a transaction on our layer 2. For the problem of slow transactions, we speed that up to less than a second. For data storage, it costs a lot in order to store data directly on Ethereum. We implemented a storage solution with IPFS that makes storage very cheap. For coding smart contracts, our vision, our goal is to make smart contract development accessible, easy to deploy, easy to use. So we strive to have
recording in progress.
And finally, we see that there are other solutions that also support lowering the gas fees and increasing the transaction throughput. But we see that those solutions contain problems. In this case, centralization risks, that only a few participants control the funds of the users on the platform. We aim to make Metis decentralized, and thereby ensuring the security of the network. So how does Metis do it? we utilize the optimistic rollup technology. So what is optimistic rollup? We utilize the security of layer 1 Ethereum. We build on top of layer 1 Ethereum using the layer 2 optimistic rollup. So how this process works, just very simply, when a withdrawal occurs, you make all the transactions on layer 2. When a withdrawal occurs, you bundle up all the transactions that have occurred on layer 2, and you post that bundled transaction to layer 1. This makes it only one transaction directly to Ethereum, ensuring very, very low gas costs than if you made those transactions directly on layer 1. Now, what does optimistic and optimistic rollup mean? Well, optimistic means that we assume that all transactions are verified until proved otherwise. So in case transactions are invalid, fraud proofs are generated and made sure that all the transactions are valid in that fraud proof. Finally, withdrawals to layer 1. So after everything is validated, after all the rangers, all the sequencers give the go-ahead, then the transaction is posted on layer 1, guaranteeing the security. So that in brief is what optimistic rollups, what METIS is. So previously on June 15th, we've launched our layer 2 beta testnet. So this is entirely decentralized on Ethereum. We utilize optimistic rollups, which have low gas fees. We introduced multiple sequencers, multiple virtual machines, and we made it super scalable to demand. So that when there's more transactions on the network, we spin up more virtual machines. Now for the comparison section. That's great, but how does it compare to other optimistic rollups? Well, in here we have Metis, Optimism, and Arbitrum. So 3 of them are optimistic rollups. Now where they differ. Metis utilizes a pool of sequencers. This makes the transactions very smooth without that bottleneck of posting to layer 1. We see that Optimism and Arbitrum have a validation time of 7 days for Optimism. In Arbitrum, it takes a few days in order to make sure that all the transactions are valid. With our technology of rangers and decentralized auditing, it takes just a couple of hours in order to guarantee that your transactions are valid and post them to layer 1. We also come with a permissioned layer, which means that you can essentially give permissions to specific addresses who gets to deploy contracts on your DApp. For storage integration, we come bundled with IPFS, decentralized storage. Now, how we compare with Polygon. So Polygon has 2 solutions. They have a proof of stake and a plasma bridge. Now, these bridges are under more or less centralized control, controlled by 8 users, 8 people. And those 8 people, 5 out of those 8 people can dictate where your funds can be put. So essentially, the security is guaranteed by only those 5 out of 8 people. And we see that there's an issue with that, and that's why we're trying to mitigate that in Metis. And we want to make sure that everything is entirely decentralized and belonging to the users on the platform. So before we released the Metis tribe, and I'll just go over briefly just the history. It was a big NFT project where we eventually got the community support and built an NFT. We did it together. And then it got sold on OpenSea for about 16.1 ETH. For Metis Swap, we've demonstrated that we can do, that anyone can do a decentralized exchange. Anyone can build a decentralized exchange on Metis. The most complicated structure, complicated decentralized structure you can deploy and use on Metis. And you can try that out right now with testswap.metis.io. We also introduced Metis Builder and Community Mining. This is where we want to ensure the decentralization of the network. We want to support businesses and as well as the community members. And we want to offer essentially the ecosystem development through those means. Now, what you've all been waiting for, the middleware, Polis. Polis is a transaction, smart contract, and user authentication management tool. You will be able to manage your smart contracts. You'll be able to send and receive and view your transactions using Polis. We utilize the Web 2.0 standard to integrate with other existing Web 2.0 applications. And Web 2.0 is applications not utilizing the blockchain. Currently, we support manual smart contract deployment. So essentially, you do have to know a bit of smart contract development in order to utilize the full potential of Polis. Now, before I get into what the Polis Vision is, I want to give a brief demo. So that's great, but how can we use it? And to that, I'll escape the presentation and go into the demo application. So currently, of course, this is the application that I've built. It isn't, of course, it might contain bugs depending on any changes that I made, but this is an NFT creation and viewing tool. So as you can see, I've created an NFT previously. I can view it. And this shows me both a name, a description, and an image. So pretty cool, but well, you know, this is great. Well, this is utilizing Metis Polis. So this is using Polis. We're able to come in and we can create NFTs as well using Polis. So for example, I do not have an image URL, but let's search for a picture of a cat. So we have a picture of the cat, and we have the URL. We can type in cat. This is a cat. And we can submit. And we are confirming our submission. Oh, 1 second, there we go. Confirming our submission. And we can accept. This is essentially the screen where users are able to log in and accept transactions on behalf. And we see that we've created our cat NFT. And we can view it. And this is, in fact, a cat. So essentially, this application is utilizing Polis. This makes it easy to use and effective for people looking to, for example, access a Web 2 site and perhaps make purchases, create NFTs, and other many, many use cases that we saw right in the beginning of the presentation. Going back to our presentation, of course, we want to see where Polis can take us, what the Polis Vision is. So right now, Polis, you have to create and deploy smart contracts yourself. With the Polis Vision, we aim to create fully audited templates where you will be able to customize those templates in order to build your solution. We also want to enable Web 2 developers in order to come and use the application. So essentially, we want to make it easy and accessible for everyone to come and deploy their smart contract and integrate it within their application. We have the and we have the vision. So we will deliver in future versions these deliverables. Now, moving on to the rewards section. So currently we still have a event going on with our test swap metis.io. So for the rewards is that come to the test swap, utilize, see what it's capable of, make a video, and you could potentially be rewarded for those videos, that content that you produce. All right, so this concludes the presentation and a brief overview of what Polis is capable of. Now, I think the next slide is the same, yes. So please go onto Telegram, ask your questions, and yeah, this concludes the presentation. So I guess, is there any questions? Are there any questions?
Yes, I see a lot of questions in the Telegram group. So I believe our teammates are working on it to sort out these questions. So let's prepare to answer that.
Yes. So yeah, essentially the Polis launch, you can access and create your account on polis.metis.io. So unfortunately, I don't have it on this screen, but if we go back, we have polis.metis.io. So you can see what it is all about and essentially go in, explore. So right now, if you do want to develop, if you do want to utilize the Polis application, you do have to apply to become a developer. So this is a step just so that essentially so that you have the ability and capability, and so that the team can assist you if needed as well. So yes.
I see questions in the chat. So the first one is regarding the name Polis. Pavel, maybe you can elaborate on that.
Yes. So sticking with the theme, sticking with the Greek theme, ancient Greece, Polis is literally the name for city. More specifically, it is an autonomous entity. We built Polis in order for you to be able to autonomously manage your smart contracts, manage your user authentication, and manage your deployments. So we chose that name simply because of that management aspect. We put the power into your hands to create your Polis.
A question about the marketing efforts to attract developers to use Metis middleware. Actually, that is what we are working on. For the builders on Metis platform, we will encourage them to use Metis middleware to create an account and manage their smart contract and eventually their users. Meanwhile, we are working on different hackathons with a lot of partners. So that's another plan we're going to release when we have more details.
There's a question saying, will there be a technical guide for initial testers of the middleware? Yes, and the technical guide is ready on docs.metis.io. So if you head on over there, I think /Polis, and essentially there's a development guide on how you can build this application right here, the ERC 721 demo. So this is the application, this is the final results that you'll get if you follow the guide and you work your way through it. But again, you do need development experience in order to understand what's going on behind the hood. And our future vision is that Web 2 developers, anybody can come and create their smart contract without needing to know any smart contract development.
Yes, exactly. For the question that we still face the main problem with dApps, useless and inactive status. So does Metis team has a solution to prevent this problem? Actually, as an infrastructure or as a platform, we cannot change or influence the dApp developers. There are tons of dApps that not, as you may see, useless. They are useless and they're not quite active. But we do encourage the best one. So we will launch our builder mining program. The more transactions they make on Metis Layer 2 will be rewarded with actual tokens. So I think we can just leave that useless and inactive dApps alone, and we can, we should focus on who really can bring us value, not only the platform, but also the end users. Yeah.
There's a question saying, can I, a non-developer, use the Metis middleware? Absolutely. And this is where the focus is. Without the users, there wouldn't be the applications. So with using the Metis middleware, you're able to connect applications using poles. So essentially, you'll be able to send transactions, you'll be able to receive funds. So essentially, it's your management console. And there is a guide in there in the application to make it easy to use. So if you have any questions, there's also a well-written guide as soon as you create your account.
Yes. If I have a crypto startup and apply for the EDP program, do I have to use your middleware or I can use my own tools? Actually, you can use your own tools to deploy on, Metis platform, but we encourage you to use our middleware to see how easy you can, manage and deploy your application. And you can see a lot of data, on-chain data as well. So there would be a lot of benefits. Besides that, we for the builder mining program, it's only for the apps who use our middleware. So if you hope to get actual funding and continuous develop group with our platform, we encourage you to use our middleware, Polis.
And will those one-click templates be hard forks, or are they designed separately by the Metis team? So currently, we are planning the types of templates that we will release. So again, we want it to be customized and audited. We want to have a base array of templates for users to choose from. And based on that, they will be simple one-click deployments. So you would perhaps change a few parameters, just name something, and you're able to deploy it easily. This is related to Metis Swap as well. We're able to create your ERC20 token in just one click. So that's essentially the experience that we want to provide when creating those one-click smart contract deployments.
In terms of revenue, will Metis charge developers to use Metis Middleware platform or smart contract or create products? For now, I can say we're not going to do that. As a platform, we hope to build up an ecosystem for developers or builders to not only launch but also can benefit in the long run. But we do have a plan that to launch the data market, which means you can develop your template and submit to the market so others can use and can use your template. They currently we were thinking the business model is that they need to pay so that there will be a buy and selling to encourage the circulation of this data market. I believe we will release more details when this market is going to be launched. But eventually, we hope our developers can and builders can launch their dApp, can find a lot of resource here, very useful resource here, either pay or not, but they can build your dApp and grow your business. That's our goal.
Mm-hmm. If I deploy a smart contract through one-click templates, and if I later wanted to make changes or add any new features, will Metis provide that facility, or will I have to do it manually? So with smart contracts, when you deploy them on any network, the purpose of a smart contract is to just be there and it's immutable. It's there and you cannot change it. Now, of course, you can redeploy a smart contract and essentially redirect redirect it to all of the routes to that other smart contract. But if you wanted to deploy your smart contract, it'll be there permanently. You cannot make changes. You have to deploy an entirely new smart contract. So if you wanted to make those changes, then you would have to deploy a new smart contract.
How important are dApp developers to your ecosystem? What benefits and advantages does your platform provide to dApp developers? For sure, dApp developers are super important to our ecosystem. That's our main goal, to attract them and to use the infrastructure. Of course, we can bring value to them. And the benefits and advantage provide to dApp developers. As you can see, we will launch the builder mining and community mining program. So that will incentivize the dApp builders to launch some meaningful dApps. But besides that, we will also provide marketing, funding network, and also community construction strategies to help our dApp developers to really enjoy the benefits from our whole ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. There's a very good question about, as we will be having one-click smart contract deployments, but how many people could use this feature to scam or spam by deploying scam projects that could affect Metis ecosystem badly? If so, how is the Metis team going to tackle it? So currently, true, anybody can come in and anybody can deploy a smart contract, just like on Ethereum itself. How will we prevent this? We have a NFT reputation token. So this token will be assigned and given reputation, essentially stating is this entity trustworthy? And based on the community trust, the reputation would be assigned to that user. So you can see, or that entity. So essentially, if it's a untrusted user, you would be able to see that, don't make transactions with this. So that's how we plan to mitigate that risk of having those tokens, those potential spamming projects.
Just to add, hey everyone, I'm John. So when a user gave the permission to Polis that they want to interact with the dApp, and the user will be see a lot of information about the dApps itself. So they will be, again, like Pablo said, they'll be able to see the reputation. They'll be able to see a lot of detailed information about what developer is, who is responsible behind the dApp. Given that information, it's absolutely the user's own choice whether they want to trust this particular dApp or not. And as you can see in the demo, the user will still have a final say when they want to confirm the transaction or not. So it's not like once the user gave the permission to a particular dApp, and dApp can do whatever they want with the account either. So there are many ways, many gatekeepers there to ensure the ultimate security of our users' assets.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Yuan, for clarifying. Yes, so we want to make sure that all of the transactions that you make are trustworthy. So you would make that decision yourself, and you would take that risk, of course. So that's how it is in a decentralized ecosystem. Let's see, continuing on. Okay, my question is the middleware aimed only at Web3 apps, or would these be usable to bring part of a real world business to the blockchain? We aim for the transition from Web 2 to Web 3. We want to make this as easy and simple to use as possible. So with that vision, yes, we want to make real world businesses, physical businesses, and even online businesses transition to the Web3 world. Of course, Web3 projects can utilize this technology already, but with that being said, we want to ease that transition from Web 2 to Web 3. So again, we're looking at these integrations with possibly WordPress applications and other front-end guides as well in order to ease that transition to the Web 3 world. Let's see. Okay. I guess I would demo the dashboard right now. I guess Kevin is asking me to demo the dashboard just to see how this visually looks like. So I guess I will stop my share just for a brief moment.
Yeah.
And so that I can log in.
And Yuan, I believe there's one more question. Maybe you can help to answer.
You mean the security stuff? Due to one-click deployment templates, multiple smart contract may have very similar, have similarity.
Customization.
I'm sorry?
Customization one.
Which one?
In Polis, can we get templates for complex smart contracts or just like basic smart contracts for normal dApps?
Oh, okay, yeah. So in Polis, the template can go as complex as you can think. The customization options we're going to provide is going to be quite sophisticated, so stay tuned for that. But I do want to address that question about if there's a vulnerability identified in one particular template, how are we going to handle the security of that, or how can we recover from it? As you can see very soon when Pavel shows the dashboard, when a dApp is working with Polis, it doesn't work the normal way as what the Web3 dApp usually do. It interacts with domains. What we call domain is a identifier that we assign to a particular smart contract. When a smart contract vulnerability is being identified, it's very easy to disconnect the dApps from the smart contract. You don't have to do much. It's extremely easy to do. So if a vulnerability has been identified, it's very easy to disconnect. And it's very important to protect the user's assets again from any exploit that hackers may get. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. And I saw another question about middleware make easy to mint NFT. Actually, that's only one demo that Pavel did. He developed the app to mint NFT based on middleware or utilizing middleware. So it's only a demo, and you can actually develop a lot of the apps via middleware. And how will you prevent people stealing people art? I don't think we can.
Maybe I can comment here. We will make a separate event just for the NFT issue, but you need to understand that what we are allowing you to do is to convert your art into an NFT, and this will provide you a hash, which will identify you as the first one that uploaded this art into that part of the blockchain. Where do you keep your original creation will still be your responsibility. Once we make available the storage and other facilities that we are developing, you could enjoy the additional security of doing it all through Metis platform. But by now, what we are allowing you is to create the NFT, the technological process. The actual art, it's still in whatever you choose to create it and keep it.
Yeah, great. Leah is our legal lady, so
just to on that particular question, first of all, I think people stealing arts and doing NFT is not just a Metis only problem. It's happening everywhere. It is an industry problem. And I think there are many things we can do, but I think it's probably out of the scope of today's presentation, but definitely a very good question to ask. And looking forward to have further discussions on how we can improve or I would say make this industry better by really respect the IPs and the intellectual property. So that's IP, intellectual property of those artwork. And we work with artists a lot, and it's very important to us. So that's guaranteed. I think there's another question Kevin messaged to me. So just saw a presentation about integration with WordPress for front end. I'm also a WordPress developer and not much familiar with smart contracts. How a smart contract is in WordPress? Can you elaborate, please? And this is exactly what the Polis is going to help you. Unfortunately, I think due to time constraints, Pavel will tell me. I don't know if you're prepared to dive into the code and show how this interaction goes. But basically, when you need to interact with smart contracts, you basically submit the Web2 style API calls, and it will handle the rest of it. It's pretty easy, and we have an API document. that you can follow. And with WordPress, you can easily integrate API calls with your documents and pages. So it's pretty easy to integrate with that. So absolutely, I'm excited to see more opportunities to introduce more Web2 developers and developers like you that are familiar with WordPress and start making dApps and have some interesting applications on Metis very soon.
And I guess just to share what the dashboard looks like, what the Polis dashboard looks like. So we have my account. We can see the applications that I used in order to transact with the application. So in this case, the ERC 721 demo, we can see that this is a cat, and then the cat. So we did in fact make this transaction just now, and then here's the hash that we can use to verify. For management of these smart contracts, we're able to see that here is the actual address and the ID, and you can see how all of the methods in the smart contract. So this is an ERC 721 standard. Essentially, this is the dashboard. If I go into more detail, I'll probably lose everyone into just the detail, but there is an awesome documentation hub where you can access the user guide, and if you're a developer, the development guide as well. So this is just a very brief tutorial for the dashboard. I think that the power lies in just exploring the ecosystem yourself and seeing what it's capable of. So yeah, I guess I'll stop my share there. And
just to add to that, as you can see that you can actually see as a dApp developer, you can actually see all the transactions associated with your particular dApp. And it's actually a very important metrics that you can follow. There was a question regarding inactive dApps or something like that. There wasn't enough, I would say, enough metrics and reporting and monitoring in the current ecosystem in other chains that helps the dApp application developers to really understand how many activities a user actually engaged with the dApps, even with Google Analytics, with other analytics platform. It doesn't really track very well about the chain interactions. And Polis actually provides a great platform and will be able to provide a great API interface so that you can get a lot of metrics from the interactions and user transactions and do your own analytics and help you to develop your dApps and improve your dApps going forward. So there are many things around helping existing or new dApp developers or even the Web2 developers to tap into this potential of blockchain technology. So that, again, that is our vision, and Polis is the first step. Today just saw the first step towards that vision.
yes, so this is just the first step forward for a grander vision. So we hope to deliver something that's easy to use, easy to deploy, to make that transition from Web 2 to Web 3 as simple as possible. I guess continuing to answer questions is that I missed like a whole chunk of them. I don't know if where to start.
I guess we have answered pretty almost all of them.
We also, after all of these presentations, so obviously some questions might get missed, but we have a document that we're currently compiling and then reviewing and we'll be releasing very shortly with all of the questions from all of the AMAs that previously happened. So if you do have a question that you asked before and wasn't answered, it is most likely in that document, and again, will be released very shortly as well. So hopefully all of the questions will be answered that you had about either Metis or Polis.
we are glad that your presentation was so clear, that we received these interesting questions, which leads me to invite everybody once more to go to Polis and request to be qualified as a developer user, so you can try for yourself and see how we are developing week by week more features and making it really easy and accessible for everybody to jump into the Web3 and start transacting actively. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if there are no more questions that we can address, we do have a video explaining the features of our new Polis, and we would like to share it with you, and we'll be very happy to receive all your comments, more questions or suggestions. Thank you very much. So Jaroslav, when you can, please show us the introductory video.
Interested in blockchain, but don't know where to start? Metis is here to help. This is Alice. She runs a Web2 company, but can't figure out how to migrate to Web3 and build on blockchain. This is Bob. He wants to get into blockchain, but he's not a developer, and he has no idea where to start. Alice, Bob, we've got you covered. Introducing Polis from Metis. In ancient Greece, a polis was a city where each resident would gain autonomy within an orderly structure. At Metis, Polis is our middleware platform. It grants autonomy to its users, acting as a bridge from Web 2 to Web 3. As head of a Web 2 company hoping to move to Web 3, Alice must hire a smart contract developer, hire an auditing firm, integrate her existing site with a smart contract. This can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and take months to complete. Meanwhile, Bob must install and use a digital wallet, learn how to code and build his own dApp. With Polis, both Alice and Bob get the help they need. The MVP version of Polis enables developers to manage smart contracts, manage user authentication. It allows users to easily make transactions through integrated applications and our built-in digital wallet. The future version of Polis will let users manage all the resources required to launch a dApp without interacting with smart contract code. You can use Polis's smart contract template for a customized and audited experience. You can manage and call all the needed APIs and SDKs in one place. You can skip tedious processes and deploy applications in just a few steps with little to no smart contract development skills needed. Polis will make blockchain possible for everyone, making it as easy to navigate as a simple web search. It saves CEOs, developers, and everyday users tons of time and money, and offers all of the benefits you've come to expect from Metis Layer 2. Speed, simplicity, savings, scalability, storage, security. Want to see for yourself how easy Polis makes it to connect to the blockchain? Try it out at polis.metis.io. Early adopters will qualify for Metis token rewards and more.
Go onto our Telegram for the latest updates, and I guess we'll all see you next week. All right.
Bye.